everybody, John here, and today onto the garage. I'm getting wheels back on to Steed, and I'm going to swap the cars over because I'm filming this on a Friday. I've got a few things to do over the weekend, then I'm away for work for at least a week. So one way or another, I'm not going to get too much more done on Steed, or Purdy for that matter, and I'd rather have Purdy stored in the garage just for the moment. I've had a chance to have a good look at the tread on these Dunlop Sports, and they are literally as new. I doubt these have seen many miles at all. So yes, quite aged, but the car has been stored indoors, so I think they can live on a little longer. Let's pop this back together and I can move on to one quick task that I promised to do in the last video. Even though Steed, my 1997 Jaguar, is fate is not completely decided and firmed up, I said I would fix the bonnet struts. And the reason behind that is it's unsafe to leave them in the condition they're in. One gust of wind, one unintentional knock, and that bonnet will come down on somebody, probably me, and it would easily chop fingers off. It would definitely damage the car. So yeah, definitely worth doing. Plus I have a little twist that means Purdy benefits actually. But a few people comment on, oh John, you shouldn't use impact wrench to put your wheel nuts on. You can only use them for taking them off. Yeah, I'm completely with you. I've got quite a nice impact gun. It's a Clark, I don't know the model name, CIR 18 LIC. One of the features is I've got a switch that allows me to turn the power right down, and it doesn't actually spin that fast anyway, so it's not like I get a run up. All I do with it in that mode is to literally run the nuts up for speed. I'll finish it off with a spider. I'll show you a spider in a second. I'm not sure that translates. That's what I mean by a spider. And I'll use that, literally just bracing the wheel myself, just to nick them up. And then when the wheels are down on the ground, I tighten them up with a torque wrench. For reasons not fully understood, if I'm honest, I've had quite a lot of renewed interest in my home lift or scissor lift or ramp. Insert your own appropriate word. Recently, it might be because of this project, I'm not sure, but it's a Strongman Clifton mobile scissor lift. It is in no way sponsored. I've had it many years now. You can look back to the videos when I installed it. I paid for it. I believe my installation video, or unboxing video if you like, of this has popped up on Strongman's website. I could be wrong, it might have disappeared again, but a couple of people told me about it. I'm absolutely fine with that, but it was not something I knew, and it's not part of any arrangement. So yeah, I bought this because I chose it. So a real quick skinny explanation of why I went for this. My concrete floor is of unknown quality and thickness. In fact, it has a split there in it, which has always been there since I've had the house. And if you want to have a 2-post lift, you want to have really good foundations to bolt it into. Plus, a 2-post lift is pretty much permanently sighted, and I wasn't sure where I was going to have this in the garage. I also considered having 2 cars in the garage some of the time. Never really happens, if we're honest. This is mobile. It's literally sat on those 2 very big green, look like trays, very thick, very firm. There is nothing holding it down. You'll see these bolts. That one's jammed up. The other one might be as well, I'm not sure. They are literally bolts. I've drilled a hole through into the concrete and dropped the bolt into the hole. The collar below it is just a spacer to make up to the diameter of that hole there. And all it means is when you drive onto the ramps, they don't slowly inch back every time you drive on them. They're another centimetre further down the garage. It is sat on a couple of foam latex pads, one front, one rear. It's sort of a 8-inch square pad just to stop it from slipping. But once it's settled down into position, it doesn't move. But if I did want to move it, those 2 plates on that pivot beam over there locate a couple of very robust wheels. There they are. And I've got that jockey wheel hanging up. And as you raise the lift up to maximum height, the wheels touch down and lift the base off the ground. And you use the jockey wheel on that bracket at the front, and you can drag it around your garage floor as long as it's smooth. I have questions about access. You've seen under here many times. It's not illuminated today, but sorry, I'm doing something else. Yes, it masks off the floor areas on both sides of the car. There's very little there in terms of things to fix for most people, so that really doesn't give me any grief. Yes, it does restrict some welding work, but use your imagination and jack your car up, put it on little blocks, and then lift it using the lift. You can do all sorts of clever things. That's what we supported on, rubber blocks. They go underneath the jacking points, which are just slightly stronger areas of the sill seam. But I also use wooden blocks and wooden pads, depending on what vehicle I'm on. No, it doesn't matter with this lift which end the engine is. Some lifts that look like this have a roller here that goes along the floor of your garage. So as the lift goes up, so the distance between these 2 elements gets shorter, and the overhang from the roller to the front of the car gets longer, and yes, it could overbalance. This is attached, so that is its forward position, and it never changes. So no, it doesn't matter which way around the car is. From an engineer point of view, I mean, real finesse here. It would be nice to have the lighter end, this end, because it's cantilevered, whereas that side is more directly connected. But it's a 50-50 balanced car. I think it's 52-48. And yeah, it's really not worth worrying about. The on and off ramps flap down as you lift the car. They can be locked in the up position. So that lever there. There you go. So if you've got a longer car, longer sills, you can use that to lift it. Or if you've got a much shorter car, you can actually stand it on its platforms and use it like a conventional 4-post lift. And the other thing I've been making good use of in the previous video is these ramps are removable, like that, which means I can see straight up underneath this area that would otherwise be masked off. And yeah, I'm going to put that back on there in a moment. Other questions I get, yes, it is running off the domestic 240 volt supply. I have got it wired in very professionally using proper isolators. The only change that was needed to the electrics was to install a better trip on one of my supplies, the one that goes to that can allow it to spike a little bit, because when you turn the motor on, it can jump and sometimes trip a conventional 16 amp RCD, whereas with the better ones that are made for a sudden surge, it just gives it that slightly slower reaction time and the ampage comes straight back down on this again. So yeah, just a different RCD. Removing or reinstalling these ramps is very easy. If a little heavy, nothing about this lift is lightweight. You just offer it up, and then I've got a long pivot pin like so, and a circlip goes on the other end to stop it from sliding back out. Would I prefer a 2-post lift? Yes, in terms of access that it gives, but no compared to the flexibility of, I can take this out of the garage if I want, I can move it over left and right, I can do work on the drive if I want. And if I'm honest, having worked on a few 2-post lifts, not all of them feel as stable and secure as this does. If you are working under a car and working and pulling, car wobbles around, really doesn't move on this because the car's sat on its belly on a table. And even if I had the garage rebuilt with a significantly better floor, I'm not sure I would now fit a 2-post lift because of the inconvenience of the posts. They're in your way, they're always in the garage, whereas this really doesn't exist. When you drive your car in, you park astride it. It's beneath the car, it's not in the way. You've just got the umbilical cords for the hydraulics, which just run from the cabinet to it. It just suits me really well. Won't suit everybody. And if you're used to working on a 2-post lift, you'd probably find it annoying and restrictive. If you're used to working on trolley jacks, axle stands and bits of wood, it's a dream. And it's the one big boy toy I always promised myself when I could afford it, when I had a little bit of genuinely disposable money around. I was always going to treat myself to one of these, and it took till I was nearly 50 to get there, and that's fine, and I'm proud of myself. Okay, so these are the gas struts that have failed because one of the end connectors has broken. You can buy end connectors for these, but there really didn't seem much point in that they are getting on a little bit, so why not replace them? Just remove this ABS motor cover. For a better view, pull the retaining clip and off she comes. So on both ends you've got a clip like this, and you can see these claws effectively that grab hold of the ball that goes into the ball joint, and you can put a thin screwdriver under, or I've got this nice little hook tool. Just put that under like that and pull back, and in doing so, if you go from this side, you see those claws come out the way or return. It is a liftomat. It is, looking to see, there, it's a 97, so this is original. And there's a part number HJA2500AB. So this is original equipment. You can buy gas struts second hand, you can buy them refurbed. Unless you've got something particularly rare, I really wouldn't bother. You can buy original equipment, aftermarket, or what I've done. So original equipment, I've seen up to £114 per strut asked for. Aftermarket, you see them down to about £9 each. I decided to go for the in-between because the brand I actually really trust. This is an SGS strut. SGS, actually, if you look at my toolbox, that is SGS. And SGS is a company in the UK who supply all sorts of things. They didn't make that toolbox. But gas struts they actually make. And a pair of gas struts, correctly spec'd for this application, cost me £40. Probably twice what I could have got away with paying, but I don't care. So these are Nitro Lift. It's a 140 Newton unit, and this was manufactured in the second month of 2025. Yee-hee! Yeah, it's quite interesting. Does it say the Newton meters on the original? 140 Newtons, and my new one was 140 Newtons. However, I'll try to demonstrate. This is not really a visual thing, as you can imagine. New, old. Yeah, I've actually got a poorly left arm. I can push that one down all the way to the bottom, no problem at all. This one, a right arm, which is my good arm, I could probably fully collapse it, but I'm not going to hurt myself. And the dimensions, exactly the same. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put these new ones on Purdy, my 1996 XK8 convertible, because that's my prized possession. I'm going to put the ones that are on Purdy currently, which are fine, onto Steed. Now Purdy's struts are functioning fine, but they're probably originals. Can you see that? It's a very windy day, but the wind has just pushed those two struts down. Wow. That was genuine, not staged. Let's try and arrange you guys so you can see. Oh, shit. It is very windy. And you can see why I was not going to leave Steed struts broken and weak, because it was effectively only using one. I have to be very careful whilst working on this. have a look what we got. Yeah, this is a 1996 strut. So give me a second. That one's off. New one in my hand. Let's get that. You falling over. You know it's not CG. We use this with Lincolnshire, you know. We make the wind for the rest of the country. Anyway, get the bottom one on. Oh. Just gonna test new versus old here. Yeah. Yeah, that one goes straight down. That one, night and day. So it is worth swapping these struts if yours are 20 plus years old. Why take the risk? You might not live in a windy place like me. But imagine the harm one of these coming down could do to yourself or a loved one, or even just the chap who fixes your car at the garage, who maybe is doing something as simple as filling up your washer bottle outside and somebody disturbs the bonnet or the wind picks up. And we're on. And let's have a look. Same weather conditions. So I reckon I can go half the way down. That's about the balance point. And it will take the bonnet up. Check yours out later. Can you take your bonnet to halfway? And it'll still pick up, because that's what some new struts will do. Just while we're under the bonnet of Purdy, just want to check out this compartment and these relays. See, I misremembered. When I examined Steed, I thought there was a couple of relays there. I'm probably thinking about the compartment on the opposite side. And one of my subscribers, I can't remember who it was now. Instincts is maybe Neville or Gary. Said the relays that go in there for the heated windscreen, which of course I haven't got. So that makes sort of common sense. Now what I'm going to do with these are the two I've just taken off Purdy. I'm going to feel the strengths. They're even, I would say. So they're definitely a pair. Now I want to compare Purdy's to Steed's. Purdy's is much stronger than Steed's. Let's go and get the other one off of Steed. Okay, so again, Purdy, Steed. Oh, can't press that side because the clip's broke. It's going to hurt me. Oh, Yeah, Steeds are far weaker than Purdy's, despite the fact that Purdy is a year older. So I'm going to put a pair of half decent struts back on Steed, meaning he's now twice as safe as he was. If you remember, he only had one strut that was properly clipped into position. So on at the top. Take my bonnet, no fly gadget off. So now I'm going to bring the bonnet down. Be careful, get a friend to help if you've got one around. One on. Two on. Yeah, not as good as Purdy's, but much better than he was. Now, before I take the car outside, I've got this very obvious area of liquid, which I'm not sure if you're going to see it from this angle. Yes, in that gap, that fluorescing is because of the light. See the green? Well, it looks green on my screen anyway. What I'm going to do is I'm going to suck that up using a syringe to dry it out. It's a particular area. I'm going to pop my syringe in there and suck it up. Then I'm going to refill the coolant reservoir and let the engine run. And I'll know if this is historic or not. Dry it out as much as I can. I'm not going to try and dry the whole engine because that would take too long and not really serve any useful purpose. Yeah, you can see the difference easily on film. There's still some stain in the bottom because that's what the coolant does, but it's clearly dry. There's a lot more fluid down there in the valley. Right, I've just topped that up to the base of its neck with fluid. The engine's running. Nothing's spraying around. You know, there's nothing squirting, so to speak. But I should quite quickly be able to see if this pocket's filling up. And after it cools down again, I can check if that level's gone. Well, she's been idling for 10 minutes, with the bonnet shut. Some moisture has reappeared, but it's not flooding. Nothing's spraying around. I can smell a coolant smell, but that could be old coolant burning off. I'm still thinking it is possible the engine got flooded with a pipe off and it's never really been used enough since to burn it all off. There's no leaks under the car, but when I pulled it out from cold, we did get this. So, yeah, I still don't know what to think, if I'm honest. It could be the remnants of an old leak. Then the radiator has been changed, and that's fixed everything. but it is damp down there at the base of the thermostat tower, and I would expect it to have dried quite quickly because the engine's hot. My instinct is we'll still end up having to take the intake manifold off just to reassure me more than anything. Obviously it needs to cool down before I can check the radiator water level, coolant tank level, but nothing's been chucked out in this corner, which is where you'd see water being expelled from the expansion tank if it overflowed. Still a mystery. Right, I'm going to switch these cars round. I'll see you guys another day. If you just go to Amazon/shop/to the garage, and I'll put that link in the description below so that you can just click on it. It takes you to the garage area of Amazon that is categorized into hand tools, power tools, gadgets and gizmos, things specifically the XK8, etc. that I've bought from Amazon over the years so that you can follow the same links and have a look, see how much those cost at the moment. Nice little feature. Thank you, Amazon. If you're enjoying our channel, then don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell icon so you get notifications of new videos. And please give us a thumbs up or thumbs down, and you can share the videos. And below the video is always the area where you can comment and get involved with the chat.